Welcome to another episode of Mavens of Manufacturing, the video broadcast series that features the powerful women from the shop floor to the C-suite who are changing the world through engineering and manufacturing. Today, I have Betty Baker, who is a product engineer for Ashley Furniture. Hi, Betty. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk to you about CAD engineering and CAD design, specifically with SolidWorks, because we haven't had a lot of women on here who are CAD designers using that type of software to create things that they're building. So I like to start off each episode with a brief background about yourself and maybe some details on how you've gotten to where you are today. So can you tell us about your journey into engineering and manufacturing and how you got connected with Ashley Furniture?
I can. My journey is probably a little bit different than most women. I graduated high school with a diploma, and I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what career path to take. I didn't really have any role models back then. So just then, Ashley Furniture was only about 10 miles down the road from where I grew up. And they were doing a big hiring because they had just started their bedroom furniture at that time. So I decided I'm going to go work at Ashley Furniture for 1 year and make some money and try to figure out what I want to do in my life. Well, 37 years later, I'm still at Ashley Furniture. So I really enjoyed it. And I liked working. I worked out in the factory, out on a machine. I was catching parts from on a machine. And then I became the operator of that machine. And I liked the culture here. I really enjoyed Ashley Furniture. So started exploring a little bit, and Ashley Furniture started their tuition reimbursement program. So I started taking some night classes, and of course it was a CAD class, and I fell in love. And that's where my journey started. So I took night classes and worked during the day. And then back then, when they didn't have everything at night in the evening. So then I ended up switching and going to school during the day and working nights. And then I got my degree and I moved into engineering.
So with the CAD classes that you were mentioning, was that something that you picked or was that suggested by Ashley? Like, how did you pick your courses of when you were going to school?
I kind of wanted to get into this field, and I wanted to explore CAD. So I took some CAD classes and headed down the field of, I have a degree in mechanical design. So that's just where I started.
So how did you get connected with SolidWorks through Ashley Furniture? Was that the platform that you were learning when you were taking your classes?
I did take some SolidWorks classes in school when I was in school, but we actually used AutoCAD when I first got into engineering, so back in the 2D world. But then we moved into SolidWorks back in probably 98, I think it was. So we've been using SolidWorks for a long time. And then I think it was about 2002, we started a user group in our area. And back then, I started out as the secretary of our group, I think for like 2 years. And then I moved into the president role. And I've been the president of our La Crosse, Eau Claire, Winona area, SolidWorks User Group, since then. So,
How many members do you have in your user group right now?
Our group is fairly small. I mean, we have probably about 50 members only, maybe a little bit more. A lot of them are within, our company of Ashley Furniture, but we do reach out probably an hour in every direction, pulling people in for our user group.
So a lot of the conversations that I've had with past guests, we've always talked about the importance of belonging to organizations and staying connected with the industry trends and everything. What are some of the things that your user group, gets together and talks about, and why is it important for anyone in the area to be a part of your user group? How does that help you become a better CAD designer?
It is great to get together with other CAD users In our area, there's a lot of small business. Ashley Furniture is one of the largest businesses in my user group, but we do have a lot of small businesses, just 1, 2 people, little machine shops, things like that. So they don't travel as much and they aren't able to maybe go to SolidWorks World, 3D Experience World. So for them to get together with user groups and talk with other people in the industry and get ideas, get tips and tricks. We bring in a lot of our VARs, our value added resellers. So for them who are really small and they're doing everything, they're doing the CAD work, the machine work, they don't have a lot of time to network. So by being able to do this and bring them in and talk to other people, share ideas, find a great value in that.
That's great. So what are some of the barriers you are breaking down with CAD design? Because I haven't talked to a lot of women in CAD design. There's a few that I've talked to so far, but it seems like we're still representing a small portion within that area as well. I think the last statistic I heard about was around 1% to 2%. So what are you doing on your end of things to break down some of those barriers and get more women excited about CAD design?
It is really tough because, like you did say, it is a male-dominated field. When I went to school, I was the only female in my class. Even here at Ashley Furniture, I'm the only female engineer. So all the meetings I go to, user group meetings, it is basically all males, and I'm pretty much the only female most of the time. Something that we do here at Ashley is career days, and we bring students in all the time, trying to expose them, and not just to the engineering field, but to all the fields here in manufacturing. So, the design, it's accounting, it's, supervision out on the floor, quality, everything. It's all of the manufacturing fields involved. And so by bringing students in, we have career days, we go to the schools and talk to the students. We do job shadows. We started a robotics team. So I am a mentor of that. So by getting students involved in that and they get to see a little bit more of manufacturing, we use SolidWorks CAD for our robotics team. So we're trying to teach students there. So there's a number of things we have. Summer school, STEM summer school things going on here at Ashley Furniture. So just trying to promote manufacturing and all the different careers that there are.
I think that's great because most people, I would assume, when they hear Ashley Furniture, they just think of the retail store and going in there and buying furniture for their personal households or apartments or whatever they're looking for new furniture for. And they're not really connecting the dots on how those pieces are put together and manufactured. And you're behind the scenes making all of those components and putting it together and creating some of the designs that we all love and have in our homes. So it's really cool to see it from beginning to end where a product actually comes from. And I think that's great that you're doing career day stuff with the students because they've probably been in the store too with some of their parents and not really thinking how that furniture is made. So that's really cool. When we initially talked, and you mentioned this just a few seconds ago, some of the summer STEM stuff that you do. And when we initially talked, you talked about a STEM summer day that you had. Can you provide us a little bit more detail about that? Because I thought that was really a fun way to expose kids to CAD.
Yeah, we do. Like I said, Ashley Furniture has STEM summer camps all the time, every year. But one year, and I was hoping we can get back into this now, maybe after COVID is over a little bit again. But a couple of years ago, I was approached by a teacher in our area that was doing a week-long summer school session for girls. And so it was a girls can do it is what she called it. And she was exposing girls to career fields, all of them. So she had a day with a female police officer, a day with a female veterinarian, and just different careers in our small town here. So she approached me and asked me if we could do something in the engineering field. So we got together with some people here, and it's like, we're a furniture company. How do we make this exciting? This was like middle school girls, like maybe sixth grade. It's like, how do we do something exciting here that's, we only have just a portion of a day. So we made bracelets with our girls. So
that's really cool.
Big furniture company, and we were making bracelets that day, but we had a female designer. So we came up with a design. It was a simple little charm, and we actually found out the girls' names ahead of time. So we had their naming or their initial engraved in them, and just with some rope. They were very simple, but she designed them. So she brought up the concept, made a few different concepts. So she had all that work done. We had a female intern at the time, so we had her draw everything in SolidWorks. So she drew the little charm, she drew the clasp, she drew all of the components of our bracelet. So when the girls came in, then we had a presentation for them. The female designer got up and showed her whole design process, how she came up with her original few different concepts and why she came up with the one she wanted. And then we showed them the whole engineering process, how we drew everything in SolidWorks, actually took them down into the factory where we made the little charms and showed them how we had them engraved. And then we set up an assembly line just in a conference room, but we showed them how it needs to go together, and everybody worked in the assembly line. We had a person to oversee our assembly line to make sure it was going smoothly. And we had one of them as our quality person. So they had to do a quality check to make sure it was done correctly. And at the time, we also had a female packaging engineer. So we also had her come up with a little package, like we were going to ship it, or they could take it home in their package. And we just showed them from start to finish that every single thing that they touch, whether it's their toaster at home, their backpacks, their furniture, their jewelry, is designed, engineered, and assembled. They can have a career as a supervisor or a quality person, a designer, and everything, especially now with the way everything is shipped to your home, the importance of being a packaging engineer also. So It was just a short little day with them, but we tried to show them to think about everything that they do and how it gets touched by someone out there.
I think that's really cool, especially the point about the whole packaging process as well, too, because again, that's another small thing I think a lot of us take for granted when we buy our products on the consumer side of things. We don't realize, how much design or thought goes into a package to just even like house a cell phone or earbuds or something.
Right.
Like I have a really cool package right here that, this was designed probably using SolidWorks or some sort of CAD software so that it could fit nice in there and not break during the shipment process of it. And the quality is such important as well, too. Like you don't want to ship a product that's distorted in some way, because then you get angry customers and you could lose business that way. So it's all important lessons. And I think that was such a cool idea that you guys did to get younger girls excited about manufacturing and engineering. It's really cool. You just recently received an award for the Step Ahead organization, correct? Can you explain what that award was for, what group it was for, and what it all entailed for you to be considered for it and how you won it?
Yeah, thank you. I just currently won the 2021. I was an honoree for the Step Ahead Award, which was a great honor. The Step Ahead Award is for science, technology, engineering, and production. And it's by the the Manufacturing Institute out of Washington, D.C. So every year, all manufacturing companies can nominate women. I think a company can nominate 10 women, but I think only 2 women out of a company can get selected each year. So they have 2 different categories. They have emerging leaders, which are women that are coming up into the manufacturing industry and are showing leadership qualities. So they do honor 30 emerging leaders. We also had a woman from Ashley Furniture that won that this year also. And then I won the honoree so there's 100 women out of manufacturing every year that gets picked. I think this is the 9th year that they've been doing it. So someone that is a leader in the industry and is promoting STEM and STEP and STEAM and all of those different things. So yes, I was very honored not only to just be nominated by my company, but then to be chosen and to be among these great women. It's women from, again, just like you do, the C-suite, all the way down to the shop floor. So it can be anyone in manufacturing that's showing leadership.
That's great. What are some of the things that you're doing in your community other than the Summer STEM Day? Are you working closely with schools on apprenticeships as well too, or internships? Does Ashley, I know you said that you offer job shadow days, but do you do anything with not just the high schools, but also maybe some of the tech schools that are in your area?
Yes, we do. I actually sit on a couple of committees for 2 different tech schools on developing the curriculum for, the mechanical design programs that I was in. But yes, Ashley Furniture also does, besides the career days and the summer school camps that we do, they offer scholarships also for employees, children, and also for engineering. So there's 2 different types of scholarships that they offer. We also do a lot of internships, a lot of apprenticeships, and we're getting out in the schools as much as possible that we can, talking to different students. Again, I bring up the robotics. So we started the robotics team, and we're in a very small community. So our team's not a school team. We have a community team. So we actually pull students in from, I think we're at 5 schools right now in the area to build up, to make up our team. And then Ashley Furniture is one of our main sponsors of that. And a few years ago, Ashley Furniture also started Vex Robotics. So they got Vex Robotics in the middle schools. They basically bought the kit for all of these middle schools in the area. I think I can't even quote. I mean, it's 20, 30 teams right now, different schools probably. And so now they can have their own regionals and their own competitions in the area. So we actually also started, our high school team started a VEX middle school team. So our high school team actually was able to mentor our middle school team and take them to the competition. And actually, Andy, the other guy that mentors our high school team, we were both out of town one weekend when our middle school team had a competition. And so it's like, well, you guys are in charge of them. So, I mean, the parents got the kids there, but then our high school kids took over. They had to register them. They had to help them with their robot all day long and take care of things. And yeah, they, had to make sure they had lunch. And so great leadership things for high school students to have to do.
That's a great opportunity for them to learn like real time life lessons. So that I would have been really super proud of them. I bet you were really proud that they showed up and just represented it as best as they possibly could. So that's a really cool story. In terms of SolidWorks, you are considered a SolidWorks champion. And I wanted to ask you, what is a SolidWorks champion? And what are some of the things that you do in that specific role to help build up SolidWorks and get people to know what SolidWorks actually does?
So a SolidWorks Champion is a program that was just started in the last year or so. And it's for people that have certificates within SolidWorks. So I am a CSWP, a certified SolidWorks professional. So I'm part of the championship program. And besides being a user group leader, I'm also the committee rep for the user groups. And I have the area from South Dakota all the way to Kentucky. So I help other user group leaders if they have questions. I try to help start new groups. If you're having problems with your group, I can talk to you and try to help you out. So I've been doing that now for a couple of years also. One thing I kind of just do on my own is I send out a weekly tip, which is kind of weird.
That's cool.
I came back, I think it was from SOLIDWORKS 2017, and you have a notebook full of notes. And it's like, how do I bring that back to my company? No one wants to, I've been away at SOLIDWORKS World back then, 3D Experience World now, for an entire week. I have a whole notebook full of notes. And how do I bring that back to my coworkers or my user group? And it's like, no one wants to sit and listen to me talk for hours and hours. And I can type up all my notes, but again, no one's going to take the time to listen or read all of these notes. So I started sending out a weekly SOLIDWORKS tip. So every week, it's just a quick tip. And I type up a 1-page thing. I show a couple of screenshots, and it's just a little bit of information. I'm going to give you a little nugget of information. If you want to use it, great. If you want to explore more, great. And if you don't, whatever. So I started doing that internally at Ashley Furniture. And
I think that's a great idea. And that would be something good for you to, if you have a LinkedIn page, to continue that on LinkedIn, because that's educational content. And it would be great for any beginner or someone who's heavily involved in CAD design. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that is a great idea. And I started it just at Ashley Furniture. And then after a few weeks, it's like, well, I should just share this with everyone. So then I added our Mississippi plant, because we have a facility there. So then I shared it with them, not just our Arcadia plant. And then I said, well, my user group leaders might as well get this. So I threw them on the mailing list. And then I have a few other user group leaders that heard about it. And they're like, well, why aren't we on your mailing list? So it's like, okay, I'll add you guys. And then I had one user group leader that, we've all been using SOLIDWORKS for 10, 15, 20 years. And there's things that come out every year and you don't know about them or you forget about them. So I sent out this one really simple tip one week, and he came back and he's like, I can't believe I didn't know this. And then he put it out on the SOLIDWORKS forum that it's like, I've been using it for so long and I can't believe I didn't notice this. Well, then so many people are like, what tips? Why aren't we getting these tips? So I think my email list is like probably 100 people now that I send out a weekly SOLIDWORKS tip to. And then now that Champion started, I post it out on the Champions page every week also.
I know that you didn't do this intentionally, but there's a lot of manufacturers out there trying to figure out ways to share their brand story or how to get in front of the right people at the right time. And you gave a perfect example about content generation and content marketing and how it's so easy to just put something together. And it doesn't have to be so long where it takes hours to do. It just, you slap some text together that's meaningful and has value with good imagery or video, and then you just send it out and it can pick up right away. So that's unintentionally, I don't think you did that on purpose, but that's
exactly
just a great example of content marketing and how manufacturers can step up their marketing game. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. One, what are you looking forward to in 2022?
2022, it's like, well, hopefully if we can get back to normal, which would be great, and we can travel and get back into the schools, because now we haven't been this whole last year. We really haven't done career days and gotten into the schools. Every year too, before our robotics season starts, we would take our robot to school, and in front of the whole high school assembly, we would demonstrate our robot and show the kids and talk about a little bit about manufacturing, try to get them to join our team. We've taken it to sponsors. We've actually taken the kids and our robot to our user group meeting before too. So I'm hoping things get back to normal and there's more in-person user group meetings and we can get back into the schools and bring students. We're starting to bring students here again more and things. So I don't know if it's going to continue that direction, but I hope 2022 is a whole lot better and we can get out there face to face and talk to the students. It's just like, they just need to know. They don't know what's out here. They don't know what manufacturing is. I mean, we have this huge company in our small town, and they don't know what's behind these doors. I have so many people, and it just happened again a few weeks ago. Someone, I mean, even in our own town, people are like, do you work in the office or do you work in the factory? They think there's two things. You either work in the factory, so I'm on the dirty factory floor making furniture. It's still, I think, the concept, the image a lot of people have, or I'm in the office, which means what? Am I a secretary or what?
Yeah.
So again, just a couple of weeks ago, someone just said that you're not in the factory anymore. You're in the office now. It's like, yeah, I'm in engineering now. So it's like, kids just need to know we need accountants and we need engineers and we need designers. And now the way the world is going and everything is, again, shipped to your home, we need the digital people, and we need to make instruction sheets. We need to make videos and manuals. So it all stems back with engineering. It's starting with our CAD model, using Visualize, Composer, all of these different CAD packages to make these instruction sheets or to make these videos and to make the marketing images that they want to put on their websites. So kids don't know even what's in their own back door here in our town. So it's like, we need to get out there and talk to these kids.
I 100% agree. So I recently did an event at the high school that I graduated from, and I wanted to do a face-to-face facility tour so bad because a lot of the kids within the community have no idea what manufacturing companies are there. And if they do, they have no idea what kinds of products or services they're providing. But because of COVID, a lot of the facilities were like, we don't want to get kids sick. We don't want to be liable for that. So I adapted it and turned it into a virtual event, which I was a little hesitant to do because the attention span of most teenagers is probably not the highest out there. But I was really impressed that out of the 30 students who showed up, a lot of them were leaving and coming back throughout the day because they had other tests and stuff to take. But again, like you mentioned, they had no idea of the opportunities that were available coming from the basics that they were learning in their VOTech courses. So a lot of them are learning the basics of welding and PLC programming and CNC machining. And they had no idea what that led to until they talked to some of these presenters on a live platform. So I was really excited to see them engage and connect. Initially, they were like afraid to ask questions themselves. So they like wrote them out and had me ask them. But as the day progressed, they got more comfortable and more excited because they were just like, wow, we use these things on a daily basis. And we had no idea that this is connected to what we're learning. So I feel you on like 2022, let's please get back to in-person conversations, because as much as we, have gotten comfortable in this remote environment, I think we all need a break from it and just be human again with each other and see, because without that exposure, you're right, they're not going to know and they're not going to get interested. And that's just going to widen the gap even further if we don't start getting them excited. So for anyone who is interested in engineering and design engineering, what sort of advice would you give them?
Contact, of course, anyone at school, and hopefully they know the people that you can contact in your industry, and, do some research, and hopefully you're getting people into the schools. I'm hoping this is not just in my area. I'm hoping people are getting out there. Again, look for a robotics team. And, the big thing too, I guess, for me is to say yes. Say yes to opportunities. And that's the big thing. Most of my career wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have said yes. I taught SolidWorks at a tech school, and I'm not a teacher. I didn't want to teach SolidWorks, but they approached me and I dragged my feet on it. Eventually I said yes. And same thing with traveling overseas for work. I didn't want to go there. I had said no so many times. And then finally it's like, yeah, I'll go. And again, the best opportunities that happened to me in my career is because I've said yes. And I've taken a risk or taken a chance. I've been uncomfortable many, many times. Do that. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Get out there and find out what you can do. And even in big companies like Ashley Furniture, and it's all over the place, it's the job you start at isn't probably the career you're going to stay with your whole life. So say yes. And, maybe you move from accounting and into the digital world. Who knows? But the whole world, and I need to do that myself. I find myself getting comfortable and not expanding and improving the way I should every day. So we all need to do that. We all need to say yes. And we need to get out there and improve ourselves and find what's next. We don't know what's waiting for us out there.
And I think the engineering and manufacturing environment is perfect for all of that, because you don't necessarily need to go to a 4-year college. Yes, a lot of people
Correct.
can do that, but you can start off, on a factory floor, move your way up. And if you're lucky enough, like you were, to have a company like Ashley reimburse you for some tuition stuff, take extra courses, and then, figure it out from there. I think that's the perfect place to do it. And like you said, it's always changing. So you're always going to be learning new things and accomplishing new things and trying new things and taking risks, and just not being afraid to say yes or fail or be uncomfortable in certain situations, I think is the perfect way to explain how manufacturing and engineering are, because you just never know. It can be very stressful and chaotic sometimes, but also fun and very satisfying when you create those products. Well, Betty, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. For anyone that's listening, please visit mavensofmanufacturing.com if you want to learn more about Mavens. And also, please visit SolidWorks and see some of the things that they're doing on their website as well. Thank you and have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.